Hello and welcome to another episode of This Week in Comics. It's the Rebirth episode 2, which means it's episode 61 all in, or for you Uber fans out there, Pete's Week in Comics is back. I'm going solo this week, no Sid, just Pete, so it's Pete's Week in Comics. And we don't number that because it can't be contained by numbers. It's global, it's bigger. So without further ado, let's look at some comics released this week. So, we'll start with the biggest release of this week, in my eyes anyway. It's a comic I've been dying to come back for many years. It's a return of Young Justice. This time not by Peter David, but by superstar writer Brian Michael Bendis. This is the first book from the new Wonder Comics imprint from DC. Young Justice is back, and not only that, it's the return of Connor Kent, aka the best Superboy. Impulse is in there, Tim Drake's version of Robin. You've got Wonder Girl, a couple of new characters, Ginny Hex, a descendant of Jonah Hex, and you've got Teen Lantern. They're two new characters, and a character you might not know about, Amethyst, I do believe she's called, from Gemworld. So some great new characters, some great characters returning finally to DC. I can't wait to read this. It's by Brian Michael Bendis. He can do no wrong. Art by Patrick Gleason. He can also do no wrong. It's a superstar team on a superstar book, and I cannot wait to read this one. Not even going to flick through it because I don't want to ruin it. But if you do like your variants, there's a few, and that's my favourite. It's Connor Kent, it's Superboy. He's got his own variant cover. Can't say better than that. Get Young Justice on your orders today. Next is another new number one, but this time from our friends at Marvel. It's Friendly Neighbourhood Spider-Man, issue 1. If you've got a spider-shaped gap in your collection, which you shouldn't, there's like a million Spider-Man books out at the moment, but here's another one. It's kind of replaces Spectacular Spider-Man, that finished recently, so to fill that gap they brought Friendly Neighbourhood Spider-Man back. And as it sounds, this book is a little bit more street level. It's not taken on big intergalactic threats that Spider-Man can do from time to time, or like a big crossover featuring Norman Osborn. This is more Spider-Man in the streets, in a friendly neighbourhood. But hopefully it's not too friendly, because Spider-Man in a friendly neighbourhood, he's not going to get up to much, is he? He'll just be sat there, chilling with MJ. Are they together? I don't know. Read this. Find out more. Friendly Neighbourhood Spider-Man issue 1 from Marvel. Another Spider-Man book. That makes 83 different Spider-Man books being released each month from Marvel now. That might be rounded up. You all like Star Wars, don't you? And you were probably all sad that there wasn't a new Star Wars film last year, but do not fear, Marvel have got your Star Wars needs covered with plenty of Star Wars comics. And we've got a one-shot this week, Jango Fett, Star Wars Age of Republic. This is the variant cover, there is a standard cover, but you all have a variant, so I thought I'd pick that one. But if you are a fan of the prequels, which I know some people are, possibly, Jango Fett was obviously one of the characters that came out of that. He is the man that Boba Fett, everyone's favourite bounty hunter, was cloned from. If you want to learn more about Jango, because he didn't get to do that much in the prequel films, read this. It's a one-shot. It's a one-off. That's all you have to read. Can't say fairer than that. We're keeping on that number one hype train, and we're going still with Marvel. Captain Marvel is back. We just had a Captain Marvel miniseries that kind of set this up, and obviously we've got a Captain Marvel film coming out later this year. She's also speculated to appear in Avengers Endgame, the big Avengers movie hitting theatres in just a few short months' time. So if you want to learn more about Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, before you go and see her in the theatres, this is probably a good place to start. It's an issue 1. It seems to be a bit of a bumper-sized issue as well, so you get more bang for your buck. Looks good. Captain Marvel, she's a popular character, a popular female character as well. It's good to have a lot of female-led books, films, and all that sort of fun media stuff. So if you are a fan of Marvel's big captain, not to be mistaken with Shazam, check her out. A new issue 1 from Marvel. Kelly Thompson is writing it. Can't say better than that. So, a new number 1, this time from Image, hot off the heels of Kill or Be Killed. Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips are back with Criminal. And this is a double-sized issue, but for the price of a standard issue. So Image, not only giving you a brand new number 1 by superstar team Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, you're getting basically 2 comics for the price of 1 here. Looks very good if you like your crime books. You know Ed Brubaker is kind of the top of the class when it comes to crime books. And Criminal, as you can tell by the title, it's a crime book. But yeah, brand new Image number 1 for you. Image like to release a lot of number 1s, and they're always good. You can't fault Image, and they put new content out and they cover all the bases. So if you like your crime, if you like your crime fiction, if you like all that sort of stuff. I don't know what more to say about Criminal other than it's criminal that you're not buying it. So buy it today. Yet another new number one, and this time it's again from Image. We've got 2 Image number ones for you this time, and again it's a crime book but with a bit of a twist. It's Gunning for Hits, Music Thriller issue 1. Now this is a crime book, but it's based around a music producer trying to get the world's biggest band signed, and obviously there's going to be some hijinks that will ensue that bring the crime element into it. So it's an issue 1. Obviously we don't know too much about where it's going yet, but one interesting thing about this book is it's written by Jeff Rougevy, probably pronounced that wrong, but he's a music producer himself. He's produced work for the likes of David Bowie, hence being on the cover. So if you're into your music, it's a pretty good one to pick. And also in the back it has got a playlist for you to add to Spotify, so while you're listening to it you can listen to some of the songs that the guys recommended. That's pretty good. Multimedia comic there. So if you, like me, you love your music, you love your comics, that's merging the 2 worlds together beautifully. And last but by no means least, let's look at our trade paperback of the week, which is Injustice Volume 4. Not Volume 7, it's Volume 4. Injustice, if you don't know, is a video game by NetherRealm. They're the guys behind the Mortal Kombat franchise. They make fighting games using the DC characters, where it's in an alternate universe where the Joker killed Lois Lane, Superman goes crazy, kills the Joker, becomes a bit of a dictator, and just takes over the world. And that is what Injustice is in a nutshell. But to go alongside the video games, of which there are 2, DC for a number of years now have been doing comics based on it. And this is a collected edition of those. So if you like your Injustice video games, if you like your fighting video games, if you like DC characters in fighting game ways, check out Injustice. It's not a bad way to read your favourite superheroes with a bit of a dark twist. Injustice, the complete collection, Year 4. That brings us to the end of another Pete's Week in Comics. Hopefully this week in comics will return next week, but if not, you'll get another Pete's Week in Comics, and it's better really, isn't it? It's better than all of your YouTube videos you're watching. Just delete all your other subscriptions, subscribe to this, because you get great comic reviews like that. Can't say better. But if you are local to Banbury and Oxfordshire, come and see us in Comic Connections. We've got all your comic books, your video games. No, we haven't got video games. That's a lie. I'm going to say action figures, T-shirts, back issues, trade paperbacks, statues, Funko Pops, you name it, we've got it. And if you put any title on regular standing order with us, you not only get them reserved, you save 20% off cover price. It's a deal. It's a steal. It's a sale of the century. But yeah, if you're not local to Banbury, just support your local comic shop. We're all in this together. The more people that buy comics, the better it is for everyone. I will see you next week. Take care and good luck.